Today I messed up by drugging an entire family and sending them to the hospital. Yep. Another edible story. You'd think we'd have all learned our lessons by now. I moved out from my parents' place a few months ago and got a call from my dad the other day. Hey, is it possible you left some wheat brownies in the freezer? We have some friends over and everyone is feeling pretty woozy. I realized, I'd made edibles like a year ago and left them buried and forgotten at the bottom of the freezer. The stuff up is not labeling the bags. Always label edibles even if you think no one will eat them. Backstory. Dad decided to clean the freezer and I guess they ended up on top in clear sight. Of course my mom decided to make some regular brownies around the same time, then stored them in the freezer. In the same exact Ziploc bags I used. Guests come over and she thinks, I know. I'll serve them those brownies I just made. Well, she grabs the wrong ones, and serves them to a mother and father, their 2 kids aged 1 and 3, and a mutual friend of both families. Nightmare. To make matters worse, the family was religious and had no previous experience with any drugs whatsoever, so their first experience with weed was being drugged with high-dosage edibles, while taking care of their toddlers who also got drugged. Parents and 1-year-old had 1 brownie each and the 3-year-old had 2. Everyone was feeling pretty rough, kids were just about passing out so they called the paramedics. At first no one knew what had happened, they thought there might have been a carbon monoxide leak or something. The paramedics narrowed it down pretty quickly though, and that's when I got the call. They ended up all going to the hospital, understandably had awful experiences all around, parents forgetting how to speak/anxiety attacks. I tried the edibles later that day just to see what they were up against. I'm a pretty seasoned user, took half of one, and I was floating. To think a 3-year-old took 4x that. I feel awful. Police and child services got involved. At one point seemed like I was gonna get a call, but I think they realized it was an honest but very unfortunate mistake for everyone involved cause I never heard from them. Went over the following day to give them an apology card. They were trying to be nice but there was definite tension in the air. Caught a glimpse of the kids and they seemed fine thankfully. It's been a couple days and everyone seems to have mostly recovered, but I'm sure there is some lingering trauma. There's still some anger, resentment on behalf of the family which I can't blame them for. Honestly just hoping they directed at me and not my innocent parents who were just trying to be nice hosts. Lamau. Funny thing is I've read probably like 5 similar stories on this subreddit and always thought to myself why you have to be dumb to let something like this happen. Well. I'm officially dumb. Too long. Didn't read. Made wheat brownies, didn't label them, forgot about them in freezer, moved out of the house, parents cleaned freezer and made normal brownies, stored them in identical Ziplocs, served the wrong ones to a family of 4. Bad times all around and hospital visit ensued. Today I messed up by letting a homeless guy make a phone call. This happened about an hour ago. My friends and I were waiting on the train home at a MARTA station in Atlanta. As we are waiting, a homeless dude gets off a train and makes his way over to us, sits down right next to me, and starts telling me he just came from the hospital and had his knee worked on. I figured he was gonna ask for money, but instead he asked me if he could make a phone call. I hesitated since I wasn't expecting this but said sure anyway. I brought up the dial screen but he said he needed to look the number up. So I open him up a blank page on Safari so he can look it up. At this point the train is about 5 minutes out, so I figured he'd have time to make the call. As I'm watching him use my phone I realize he's brought up videos. So I said, hey man, are you really looking up porn on my phone? He just replied, yeah. Sorry man. I probably should have stopped him here and took my phone back, but I try to be nice about it and I jokingly say, why didn't you go to Pornhub? So he starts playing a video and takes the phone off silent and turns it way up. Then he sets my phone on his knee and proceeds to light up a joint inside his hoodie. Now I'm concerned he's about to start jacking it underneath his hoodie. Thankfully, the train arrives and I tell him I need my phone back, but then he asked if he could sit next to me on the train and watch the whole video and he'd give me a bag of weed. I just said no dude, I'm sorry I can't let you do that. I got on the train with my friends and we left. One of the strangest experiences of my life. Too long. Didn't read. Homeless dude asked me for my phone at the MARTA station so he could make a phone call. So I let him have it and he started watching porn. Today I messed up by learning French to ask out a German girl. This whole journey started about 3 months ago when I saw a girl in the hallway. Of course, being a teenager, I immediately got the hots for her. Rather than going up to her and talking like a rational human being, I decided instead to learn French to impress her. At the time I had some extra cash and subscribed to a few programs like Babbel and Duolingo to help me learn the language. I even looked around online to find a French native to practice my skills with. While I was learning French, I hyped myself up thinking she's going to be so surprised when I speak her language. Cut forward to now and I asked her out. I walk up to her and say bonjour, je m'appelle Michael, tu veux sortir? To my surprise she responds and says c'est gentil de ta part Michael, mais tu sais que je suis allemand non. I didn't catch that last part and I ask her to repeat that again in English. She repeats her response in English. Hearing this, my heart drops straight through the floor. I immediately got flustered, came up with a dumb excuse and walked away. Now I'm here on Reddit posting my shame. Too long. Didn't read. I was being a massive idiot spending 3 months learning French to ask out a German girl. Edit, it's been about 9 days and thank to all of you guys I'm now dating her. You were all the confidence boost I needed to come back and try again. Thank you.